Okay, let's get started with this beautiful painting. Autumn colors, beautiful house near the farmlands, near where I live in New Jersey. We have lots of interesting fall colors, trees, a gorgeous house here. We have a car, a nice antique car parked in the driveway, some pumpkins here. It's autumn, it's Halloween time. We're having a great time painting here. I'm hoping you're going to join along with us. We're going to cover every step of the way so you can get in here, get this painting accomplished. We're going to cover the drawing, how you're going to get the drawing done, the hash marks around your drawing so that everything is set just right in your painting. And then also all the colors we're going to use, the fall colors, we're going to mix all of those in our palette over here. We're also going to show you how you can look up, at the end of the video, I'm going to cover the steps, which are really simple, like only two or three steps. You'll be able to go onto my YouTube homepage, Chris Petri. YouTube homepage, you'll be able to click on that and then look for, in the community tab, which is right underneath the homepage, right when you open up that homepage, you'll see the community tab. You click on the community tab and you'll have this painting on that tab right there. So you'll be able to see the painting finished just like that. And then also I'll have the drawing. So the finished drawing that we did here for this, the pencil drawing, will be on this tab too as well. So I'm going to start posting all of my drawings and paintings as we go each week on my channel. Hope this is really helpful. I learned this from another YouTuber who was showing how to install photographs into your YouTube channel. So now I'm able to do it. I learned how to do it. It's not too difficult, and it only takes me a little bit of time, so I'm willing to put a little more time into it and have those there for you if you want to. You can probably download these photographs or even do screen captures of them, and you'll have them so that you'll be able to work along with us and have the actual finished drawing and finished painting to work from, okay, as well as the video. So we'll see you on the next part of this video as we start the pencil drawing, okay? All right, so we saw the finished painting, and now let's get started. We're going to get right into how we're going to go about the process of putting this all together. So the first thing I did is I make an icon, the light in the picture. The sunlight's coming from the right across the picture this way. So I'll put my light icon up here. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of look at this painting and say, all right, let me get the main composition of where everything is kind of in the painting. And it's really mostly just the house. And there's some trees. There's a large tree in the front here, and then another good-sized tree over here by the garage area of the side of the house here. So what I'll do is I'll use my Sharpie just to quickly kind of, this is about center of the picture here, this gable here on the rooftop or the side of the house. So that's the roof, the center of the roof, about there, center of the picture approximately. And then it's about a little bit higher than halfway. So if this is halfway up from the bottom of the painting, so it's a little bit above halfway, the roof, the peak of the roof, the ridge of the roof, the gable. So I would say that's a little bit higher than halfway, not a whole lot more, but I'd say it's like that. So I'll put the roof, so I'll just say roof there. And, or to be more exact, the ridge. And then I'm going to come over here and then just maybe get my markers, my hash marks for the edge of the garage over here. So that's about this much over this way, in from the side of the picture. And then I'll look over here and maybe I'll put maybe where the curve of the road is, where the grass is. So that's the grass where the curve of the road is there. And again, edge of the garage over here, right where the grass is, where it touches the road and meets the road right there. And then I'll try to get the bottom of the house, which is about a quarter of the way up the picture. And then I could also too just put bottom of house. So you can make as many notes as you want. This doesn't always look great on camera. Most times I won't make notes like this. Kind of, I don't know, just to me it would seem that most of you could always put in the comment section whether you think the notes on this is distracting when you're trying to when you're trying to follow along on the videos. That would be something good, because then maybe I'll put these in more. But I always tend to figure that maybe most of you wouldn't like to see all the writing on the tape. And I can always just do a quick, maybe when I take my next break, I'll take some correction tape and just put that over the top of these here, so we don't have to see all the writing and everything while we're drawing and painting. But in any case, that's pretty much the, you know, the main things we can kind of waypoints in the painting. So now we'll just start with our preliminary sketch. I'll just draw the sketch. I'll just mention that I'll draw a darker line. Maybe I'll do my preliminary sketch with this mechanical pencil. And what I'll do is I'll just do a quick, I want everyone to do this when you're working with your drawing, is first you get your hash marks in so that you're kind of already setting yourself up to have an easier time putting your drawing in, because you're already carefully and slowly determining where certain key points are in your drawing. That's the first thing. That's why these hash marks are so important. And then the second thing is a preliminary sketch is great too, because that gives you a chance to get a little more familiar with it. And now we'll do a preliminary sketch, which is basically a light, very, very light sketch. So in case you have an error in your sketch or anything like that, or your drawing, you can use a kneaded eraser and erase up a few spots and then correct it and maybe make something a little different. Maybe you made the roof too wide, or the building too wide, or too slim. Maybe you didn't make it high enough, or it's too low, or maybe the windows didn't come out correctly. So you will sometimes have challenges. No big deal. That's, you know, everyone has challenges when we're drawing. I think of, you know, over the years, I always find myself, you know, having to counter adjust and adjust my drawings. So it's no big deal. We all do the same thing when we're, as artists, we're just trying to plan things ahead, get ourselves some good waypoints. So what I'll do is here, this was the bottom of the house. And what I can do is, since this is the ridge, the center of the roof, I will start here. Because if I start here, then everything kind of just will flow down correctly as far as the shape of the house, I think. So if I start here and I come down, and we said the ridge of the roof is about here, so it actually is quite low. You can go a little higher if you want. I will go a little bit higher, I think, like that. I make a dot there for the ridge of the roof. And then now I'm just going to try to, you can even take your pencil, hold it on the angle of the roof, and then just take your pencil and just carefully come on down like this, like that. And then you can put your finger like here, where the edge of the pencil is here, and that gives you that line right there, like that. And then you could do the same thing over here. Hold the point of the finger there, make a small hash mark there, and that's the, I have to move it in a little bit, I think, but that's about, and I will make this, I'm not going to make this angle on the house. This is where we can adjust. You're the artist. You can adjust your drawings and things. Don't feel like you always have to draw everything you're exactly seeing. To make things easier for ourselves, I'm going to actually take this and make this two-dimensional. I'm not going to have that third dimension to the house over here on this side. So I'm going to remove that angle that we're seeing here. And then I'll make this wall come down here. Here we said was our bottom of the house. You can use a ruler. I have a pencil handy over here, so I'll just do this. Bottom of the house, like that. And again, this is the preliminary sketch, so it's a lighter sketch. I'll go over with a darker pencil line so you can see better. And that's the other side of the house there. Then from here, we can just make a... I'm not going to put in all these vehicles either. I'm going to put one vehicle in, and I'm going to use actually a photograph of another vehicle I saw yesterday. I took a picture of like an older, maybe like a 1940s vehicle. Looks really cool. We'll put that here in the picture. And we'll continue over here. Since we're just going to make this with no angle, we will put the shed roof that's over the porch here on the front. So that's about halfway up the up this wall here, going in an upward motion about halfway. That's going to be your shed roof here for the porch, and then that just comes down at an angle like that, and it's basically a triangle. Kind of looks like a beak, you know, from a bird, but that's a pretty much a triangle. And then a post that comes down this way to hold up that shed roof there. And then maybe there's a porch here. We'll make it a porch here. Even though it doesn't look like a porch there, I think it's just a concrete patio right on the grade level. We'll make a porch though to make it look more interesting. And we'll have railings on it. And we'll have a step over here or two like that. And maybe some railings here. Just a shape we'll paint that in later. And then right over there, we can just say that from there, we'll start to make our tree over here. And I won't get into tremendous detail with the trees over here. There's another one over here too. Actually, this is all the same tree. A very wide trunk to the tree here. Like that. And we'll kind of leave it like this. And there's another tree back over here. So now we'll just work our trees in. And those will overhang and touch the house. So we'll try to keep the trees kind of like hugged in with the house close, and then it'll kind of be like one unified part of the composition. And then we can say that this was where the road kind of curves here. And then we can look at the curve and say, where does that roadway come to? Where does it meet up with the edge of the picture? And it looks like right at the corner of the house here. So if I go down here, that means I want to have this. This is going to go like that. Like that. All right, so since I've done this much work so far, and it's, you know, a decent amount of drawing, and again, it's also the preliminary drawing. You're going to do this really, really light when you start with. And then once you're done with the really light pencil sketch, then you'll go over with a darker pencil line if you want to. But usually this will be fine if you just, you want to limit the amount of pencil lines in your drawing on your watercolor paper. That's fine, I think. It's up to you. I will go over with a darker pencil line. So what I'll do is I'll just take a quick break, and then we'll start working on the left side of this house over here, because that's got a little bit of details to it. It's going to take us a little bit of time to figure out some of these details over here. We have a garage, 2-car garage, and then we have like a porch on the second floor that goes out, like a nice screen porch part of the house, actually, like a sunroom back here, really nice. And then there's also another wall here of the house that's just to the left of this corner of this portion of the house here. So let's just, we kind of talk it through what we're seeing here, and then next when we come back, we'll pencil draw this in here, the left side of the house over here. And then we should be good. A little couple more trees over here we'll put in. We'll make some nice fall colors in our painting. We'll be painting in just a minute or two. And we'll just do a telephone pole here, maybe. Maybe we won't. Yeah, we'll put in the telephone pole. And there's a few rocks, and maybe we'll put some pumpkins since it's autumn time. Maybe we'll put a few pumpkins and things here in the front of the house too as well. On the side of the house, by the front. Okay, we'll be right back. All right, so we'll start over here looking at the left side of this main section of the house here. And we notice that this roof over here is a little bit lower. It sets back just a little bit around the corner of this face of this wall. And it's about, you know, actually that's all one wall it looks like. We'll make it one wall. Actually, we'll make it two just to make it easier for ourselves. So we have this wall here with a roof going back this way. And that's another triangle, sort of like a triangle, trapezoid shape, like a triangle basically. And then this wall comes down like so, all the way down to the ground level, like that. And then we have the bottom of the house again here. And that line for the ground level is just going to trail right over there to the left. No reason to get fancy. Just we'll go over to the left here with that line level. And if you want, you can have a pencil or a ruler. You know, you can have I like these small mini rulers. These are great. So we can just take this line and kind of just line it up and say, okay, like that. You can make the line a little bit, probably looks better just level. You could make it on an angle too. Like you could make it as the ground, as if the ground slopes a little bit over here. It's all up to you. You can figure out, you know, you're the artist. You'll figure out if you want to make nuances to things that we're doing here. And then, okay, let's get back to this here. So we have this wall that sets back from this face of this wall, about maybe 4 or 5 feet, I would think. And then over here, there's also another gable over here with a ridge, and it's sort of about this high up, and then it slopes down this way. So we'll have interesting features here on the left that give the painting a lot of detail architecturally. And then we're going to have this roof here like that, and that's that sun porch on the second floor of the house there. And then we have the then we'll be very careful to we'll leave this as it is here, this sunroom area, and then what we'll do is we'll try to work and find out where these different heights of these roofs and things are, as you know, using our starting point as, let's say, the front of the house. We had this shed roof for the front porch area and the entrance to the house, front door coming into the house on the front of the house over here around this side. This is the side of the house. Now we have this roof here. This is a good time to have a ruler, actually. And then you can kind of see in the picture here, we'll look at it together and say, all right, where does this garage roof kind of, well, that garage roof looks like it's just a little bit lower than this bottom of this roof. So if we come over here and we say, all right, that's the bottom of the porch roof. And then we just say, all right, well, that's there. And then we're just going to go a little bit lower for the garage roof like that. And then that'll be our garage roof over here. And then we'll just put that over here. Feels like it's sloping down to the left there a little bit. So maybe I'll do the same thing. And it goes over quite a ways. We could look at it and say, how far is this garage? How long is this garage compared to let's say this side of this house here, this section of the house here. A simple way to do it is just, you can measure it and say, okay, that is, in the picture right here that we're referencing, 1 inch is approximately the house, the width of the house. A little bit under 1 inch. Now we'll come over here and look at the garage and we'll say, oh, wow, look at that. Yep, that's about the same. So the garage width is about the same as the house itself here on this side, which could be like 24 or 25 feet maybe, or 20 feet. So we'll do that. I just don't want to make this line here for the garage roof going up this way. So if anything, the line for the garage roof wants to be either perfectly level or down this way a little bit. So I'm going to take a ruler and just make that slope down just a touch. It looks better that way. And we're going to say it's the same width of the house here. So you can always take, again, the ruler and say, wow, this is... So if you could imagine our photograph right here that we're referencing, we're actually 2 times the size on our drawing as this here. So if I measure 1 inch here for the side of the house, it looks like this is 2 inches in our drawing. So it just happened to work out that way. So now we say 2 inches here, so our garage needs to be 2 inches wide here, and it is. So that line is good. And then we'll put our garage wall here. And then there's, of course, the roof on top of the garage. A little bit of the roof is showing there. And then the fascia board there and the gutter. I'm sure there's a gutter and a fascia board there. Fascia board. Might just be a fascia board. And then up here again is our sunroom. But I'm thinking I may have made that sunroom. This is where, when you're doing your preliminary sketch, I made the sunroom a little bit too high, too tall. So I just do that quick. And even though it's just a little bit, it's enough that it looks awkward. So I'm making it, maybe by 1/8 of an inch, I'm making it shorter, that room there. And then the roof on that is like so. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. So we'll draw 4 windows in. The windows look about a little bit taller than the bottom of the wall. So we'll just go across like this. And that's, to make 4 windows, it's very simple. That's an even number. So you can just divide this rectangle we just created here. You divide that by 2 by just taking a line right down the middle of it, close to the middle. Doesn't have to be measured or anything. And then another, divide it again in half. So this side, left side in half, and this side over here on the right in half. And that's our sunroom right there. And then we can just put the sashes across the middle of the window. And voila, we have it. We have the drawing complete, except for a few things. Let's get the, let's do our telephone pole. I would use a ruler for that. If you want to, you don't have to do that. You could always make, again, you could make a, you could take your artist's liberty and say, well, maybe I want to make the telephone pole over here. Or maybe I want to keep it over here. Let's keep it the way the picture is for the most part. That telephone pole is going to start here, a little bit up from the road edge. And then it's going to go straight like this. And I'll just make it go pretty much right to the top of the painting. Like that. Incidentally, you can make your telephone pole on a little bit of a lean. You can lean it one way or the other, just a touch. Might look a little better. I just thought of it now, but since I've drawn it in, I don't want to keep erasing. But that might, sometimes it looks a little good if maybe something's just a touch, you know, leaning a little bit. Kind of makes a nice effect of like everything not being exactly like perfect. And what else do we have? Over here we have another tree by the garage, so let's do that tree. This one here is leaning. And you can always too take a ruler, gently make a very, only you can see it, no one else can see it, and you put the pencil line there first, and then you can start, you can draw your tree from that pencil line there, and then you can branch off here. That might be another telephone pole, actually. I can't tell. Yeah, that's another telephone pole over there. So let's make that a telephone pole. It's going to be a little bit thinner than this one because this one is closest to us, and now this telephone pole will be thinner, and it's over here. Okay, so now we're almost getting there. We have, there's a tree behind here, or two, actually there's quite a few, but let's say we'll make a tree back over here. And then you can always just ad-lib in a few more trees over here just a little bit. And again, you can take your time more. You don't have to go at the same pace I'm doing this. And again, I won't, spend 5 hours here doing a drawing because I know everyone's busy. You got to do other things and you can't just sit here. But you can actually draw more trees in if you want to your painting. So that's fine too. You can kind of counter adjust and do things for your own artwork. So I'm just going to make this, we can see how the road curves around this way. I'll put that distant part of the road over here, and I'll just notice that it's about a little bit under, as far as the height of it back here, it's just a little bit under this, like maybe about here. So I just do that. And this can go like that, and then the road comes over here like this. And then the road is like this, and it goes out of the picture like that. And there's a telephone pole over here. I will put that in. That is right about here. And there's also a fence, but I don't know. I don't think I will put the fence in over there. But I will put the telephone pole, and it's very, very thin. It's thin because it's in the distance, so it's diminishing in diameter compared to the rest of this. And then there's a hill back here, almost to the top of the roof. So we can take that hill and just kind of put that back here like so. Okay, and again, I will go over this a second time with a darker pencil line so it's easier to see. And I'm also going to take this drawing, once we're done with the second contour drawing over the top of this preliminary sketch, I'm going to take that drawing, the darker pencil line drawing, and the finished painting and put it onto my YouTube channel homepage, and it's called the Community tab. So when you're watching this video and you want to see the finished painting and also the pencil drawing, I'm going to put both of those photographs of those two items in my Community tab in my YouTube homepage. So I think all you have to do is just, we'll actually do it together. I'll show you at the end of the video how you get to my Community tab on my homepage on YouTube. So I think it's quite easy to do. Most of you probably know how to do that already. I'm not sure if other artists post their work online, but I know many of you have, or some of you have asked me to do that, and I'm going to start doing that. I'm putting my finished painting and the finished drawing on that part of my YouTube channel so that you can take screen captures or screenshots of it or download the pictures. I think you might be able to download the pictures even and print it out on your home printer and whatever else. So I think that'll be a really big help. I just didn't realize I could do that. So I saw somebody else do it on YouTube, and or someone else had it on their program of how to, like have more interesting things on our YouTube channels. Like I try to better my YouTube channel a little bit here and there when I can. And that was one thing I thought, wow, I saw somebody talking about that on a show on YouTube, on a video, saying like, how you can enhance your YouTube channel. So I thought I'd enhance it by putting on the finished painting and the finished drawing, and that'll be great. This way you have it, and I think that'll be awesome for everybody to have those things as you work along with my videos. All right, so we have it. We could, let's just get the windows in. We have the porch windows in, fine. This sun porch, sunroom, and let's get the main windows here of the building. An easy way to do it is, this is very symmetrical, this wall. So if I just go down, if I make a center point down the wall, like that, barely visible, and then I say, where are the windows on these, well, on the wall? There's some vents, there's some attic vents. Oh, those are windows. So there's actually a third floor on this house. So here we have, these windows are approximately here, where the eaves of the roof are, where the eaves come down, there. So right there, just a little bit below the eaves of the roof, we have the windows. So we'll just make sure they're centered on the wall too. They're centered on each of these two halves, like that. So that's the top of the window, and then the bottom of the window is, you know, this you just have to maybe give it an approximation that the windows don't look too big, not too small. So that's the two windows there. You could also double it, like we said before, we're doubling everything, the measurements on all the parts to this for the most part. So if this window is, if we look at this and say it's about just under a 1/4 inch, then it should be about just under a 1/2 inch. And we have it about right, just under a 1/2 inch. And then this window over here, the top of those windows are just under, we can kind of see they're lower than the bottom of this edge here where the eaves of the porch roof are. So that would be here. And we'll do that. We'll get the tops of these windows here. And then again, they're the same size as these windows, so we know they're a little bit under a 1/2 inch. A little bit under a 1/2 inch. And then from this point, you can just draw them in by hand if you want, or you can use the ruler. But it would be good to keep them kind of straight. And I would just make one at the top to start with, like this, and say, does that look pretty good? Yeah, that looks fine. Then you could take a ruler and just come straight down here and make your other line. Over here, other line, and then the bottom would be just under 1/2 inch, about 3/8 of an inch. And the same thing. Center of the window is about here, which is exact center of this half of the wall. And then we said that this was about 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch, come down like this to the bottom. We already have the bottom, which was just under a 1/2 inch. And we take this ruler like this, and then we just take this and go down like this. And then over here, same thing. And then we come across here. We already have the bottom of this line, so we just use that approximation. The ruler, we don't want to have the ruler doing this, but if we just take this line here and hold the ruler on it like that, we know it's not going to be like this, not going to be like that. It's going to be like, roughly like this. Get a hash mark there, and then you can draw that line for the bottom of the windows. And that's simple as that. And they don't have to be perfect. I wouldn't make them perfect, actually. That'll look kind of boring. So, and once you paint them, they're going to change too. And then you just go halfway for the sash of the window, like that, halfway approximately. And you could measure that too. So if you have a hard time seeing things by eye, that's okay. You can measure things more than I do. So now we have those windows in, and then there's other windows here. They're just a little bit above these windows. So I'm just going to go up here like this and kind of look and say, what are those about? These windows up here, these two windows up top, they're actually about half the size of this window above these windows. So I'll just say that was, here we could say that's 5 millimeters. And then over here, 5 millimeters up. 5 millimeters up on this side. That gives us the bottom of the windows, of these two smaller windows. And they're about halfway. starting halfway, so you can almost make like an L. And then this one is halfway on the window, this way, and then toward the center. And there we have our two windows up top here. And you can see one's a little bigger. I made one a little, this one, you know, no big deal. We're going to paint these later, so you won't have to worry. And then we can even make our, and then again, we're going to draw this in a darker pencil line. I know this is a lot of drawing. I hope you'll be going to my YouTube channel homepage and going to the community tab and downloading these pictures of this drawing and the painting. And this way you can take your time, do it at your own will and your own time frame. But it is good to watch this one time because I do explain everything as I'm going here. So that'll be a lot of a benefit if maybe you can either draw along with me here and then also have the reference material with you as you're working, or if you just watch this one time full through this video and then you go and do it on your own and maybe have the video, you know, on next to you if you need to refer back to it. But I know everyone has their own process, so no need to talk about that. Let's go over here and we'll make the garage windows, and that'll be it. The garage doors and garage windows. So this garage door starts over here, and then I'll make the garage doors first. Like that. And there's two garage doors with a wall in between. Like that. And then each garage has two windows. And we won't get into too much detail. We'll just say, all right, there's two windows. So we just make our garage door window like that. A divider in the middle. Same thing over here. And that's good. And that's plenty enough details. And then we just want to have the lights for the garage. And we'll just draw our lights there. And let's do these other two windows here, and they're the same size windows. They just look a little smaller because they're back about 4 or 5 feet from this wall, and they're just a touch underneath the, like this. They're right alongside the, and the same thing. This one looks about the same height here. And if you make these thinner, that would be a great idea. That'll really make it feel like they're three-dimensional as far as, like if we make them really thin, these windows here, they're the same size as these, but they're thinner because they're behind this wall. This wall here. They sit back about, like again, 4 or 5 or 6 feet that way. So the house does make a turn there, and it sits back a little further, and you can make your house a little bit longer here, the height here, like that. And that gives it some nice depth of three-dimensional quality. All right, let's take another break. I'll go over this again with a darker pencil line, and then from there we'll be painting. So thank you for your patience, and we'll get started with the quicker, much quicker contour drawing over the top of this with a darker pencil line. All right, so we're moving right along here. We're going to do our darker pencil line now over the top, which would be considered our contour drawing. And what I'll do is, it's basically just like kind of redrawing the scene, and then you can actually add to it or change things just a little bit here and there if you wanted to, or add things in. So it's kind of just a fun way to go through the drawing one more time. So I'll just start here, and there's no real, usually for like, I would say still life paintings, I'll start usually in the center, like maybe if there's like a still life painting or I'll have a vase of flowers and different things, like maybe some fruits and cups and saucers and things like that, and vegetables, or like, you know, paintbrushes and so forth in that picture. I'd probably start with the center and move and then work out from there. So, but here we can certainly start over here and then just, so I can just start drawing in the lines. And then I just, okay, this is, the darkest lines would be the lines that are closest to us, and you can, this is a fun way to get more details in, and I'm using a number 0.9 millimeter, and this is a Alvin Draftmatic mechanical pencil. So this here, you can get more details, like we can put the actual wood trim that's on the rake edges here of the roof and the trim. So you can get more details in now, since you know your first preliminary sketch is kind of just getting the where everything should be, getting, you know, a roughing in the subject matter. Now we can get more details. So here there's trim on the underside of this shed roof here. Okay. Now there's the telephone pole, so you can and telephone poles are, like, you know, a little bit rough. They're wood and they're not perfectly sanded or anything like that. So if your line is not perfectly straight, that's fine too. It could be a little bit kind of have some roughness to the edges or little bits of imperfections to it. Same thing here. We'll do this one over here. This telephone pole over here on the side. I'll put the cross member up here. Some details on the top there. And what else? We'll keep going with our contour drawing here. So I'm just going right around. There's the roof. There. The sunroom back here. And then the roof of the sunroom there. And then the trim. And we'll have the tree over here. Some tree limbs. We'll paint in the limbs of the tree and the trunks of the tree first with a dark brown type of wash, and then we'll just put the leaves in secondarily. And we'll come over here. These are just more limbs. And what we'll do is, again, we'll splash on the leaves and things as we go. But this is the large trunk here. And then you could take this tree and maybe we could kind of have the tree kind of sitting here. We'll make some pumpkins over here. Maybe we'll make some little Halloween decorations here. So we'll have some pumpkins here, like a bunch, and then maybe we'll make a couple. Maybe we'll have a ghost over here. So we'll make it fun. We'll have a ghost here. Some pumpkins. Maybe another ghost somewhere else we'll put. And we'll continue on. We'll do our trees over here. Then we'll have our railings here. And our windows will go darker. Okay, so that looks good so far. So that's the main. Maybe we're gonna go over here with our darker. That's going to be handled with a brush mostly, just a watercolor brush there. I don't think we have to do much drawing over there. And then we have the hills over here. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good there. And we can just continue this like mountain range over here, or hill, like that. But we're gonna have lots of trees here. We'll make some outlines for the trees, the branches and stuff. And maybe it won't branch out that far over there, but pretty much if we have the branches, yeah, they're going to be about that. Just a couple more branches just to put in there. And then over here too, we'll have a little bit of tree over here too, just some sketching in just a little bit of where the tree branches are and the leaves. Fall. We'll do some fall colors, some autumn colors, a really nice color scheme we'll have for this painting. All right, so we're pretty much ready to paint now. And again, I'll just mention I will have this drawing now, this one here, and the finished painting on my homepage on YouTube. So I think many of you will know about how to get to the homepage, but if not, at the end of the video too, here on this video, I will just show you how to get to my homepage. And then from now on, you'll be looking for I'll have the finished painting and the finished drawing on my homepage each week. And I might have to delete some of the previous weeks as I go, because I think it only allows 5 or 6 pages or photos, so I might not be able to leave them on all that long, so you'll want to get there and get those for each of the videos we're creating here, and then you'll be all set. And welcome too, if it's your first time here. I'm grateful you're here painting along with us and enjoying the process of drawing and painting in watercolor. We're going to be making tons of new videos here, week after week, month after month, year after year, and so we'll get started with our painting next. Just going to take a quick break and we'll get started, okay? All right, be right back. Okay, so we're going to just get ourselves prepped here with a few brushes. I like to use travel brushes a lot. These are Da Vinci travel brushes. We have one that's a synthetic. These are really excellent synthetic travel brushes by Da Vinci. And these two are natural hair brushes, Kolinsky Sable brushes. And these are just great, you know, when you can bring these with you if you're going to travel or go for the weekend, or just take your, go outside, outdoors. You just put them like this and you can put them in your pocket. There's a little tiny hole in the top for the brushes to breathe, so you can just leave them in a backpack or a purse or something like that, duffel bag, when you're out doing some outdoor work, and you don't have to ever worry about it. Once you rinse it off, you can put it away like this, and then when you're done, you can just, and you're ready to paint again, you just open up your brush like this, And you have it. You have some great, these are great brushes. So I have them around all the time because I do like to go out and sketch and paint on a consistent basis, and vacations and little getaways on the weekends or whatever. So, but these are the three I'm going to use, and these are like, this one's a number 5. That's the synthetic round brush. And then this is, I think, a 4, and this is a Kolinsky brush. And then this is, I think, a number 8, Da Vinci, a number 8 Kolinsky travel brush. So these are the three we'll use, and we'll start out with the synthetic, I think. And what we'll try to do is get in the darks first. So this is what we call the alla prima method. I have a book out. I think I spent almost 2 years now. My book's been out. I'm hoping you'll check it out in the description box below, as well as any of the art supplies I use. I put them all in the description box below. This way you see exactly what I'm using. And I always put in there the things that work the best, that have worked for me over the years, that I kind of always go to. And those are the products that I use all the time because they've always worked well, and they're quality, and they're also priced really well too. So they're not extremely expensive in most cases. Some brushes might be a little expensive, or some papers, but you can always shop around. But at least you'll see what I'm using on a constant basis down below. And I also have my book there. I hope you'll check out my book because it explains all of my methods and techniques that I use, which are basically 2. The alla prima method, which we're going to do here on this painting, and then also the glazing technique, which I use a lot too. On my other videos you've probably seen, and if it's your first time here, again, welcome. It's great to have you here. You'll see, if you go back in my archives, I have hundreds and hundreds of videos, and they cover all of the paintings that use either alla prima or glazing technique. But my book does explain it all, and I have many, many paintings in the book, and all the explanations in the book of all the colors I'm using and what techniques I'm using. So you'll have a great time, really fantastic value. And I also have a small, quick 2-minute video of my book, so you'll see every single page in my book. Before you even buy it, you can see every page, and you'll know exactly what the book has in it, and you'll be able to look at it quickly in 2 minutes, YouTube video. And then this way you can make your decision at that point, whether it's, you know, a good investment for you. And I think it's a great investment for any watercolor artist to have. So let's get into this here. We're going to go, again, alla prima method for this painting, and we're going to, with that being said, we're going to actually do all the darks first for the most part. So we go right in, and we're going to get some brown and French ultramarine blue. That's a great start for some good dark mixes. And we add in a little bit of burnt sienna too, which is getting a little bit more toward the red. Even some alizarin crimson in there too. Let's get some alizarin crimson in there, which is a beautiful red. And that kind of gives us a really good mixture. We can also add in a little bit of, maybe, let's say, raw sienna too. So I'll start to work out some of the colors this way. Raw sienna. And even some olive green. I want to start mixing lots of colors that are going to repeat throughout the painting. So that's our first grouping of colors for our darks. Starting out with burnt umber, French ultramarine blue. That's the real dark that we want to get. And then we added in a little bit of alizarin crimson to that. And then we started working over here. And we also put a little bit of burnt sienna in there too. And then also, as we worked over this way a little bit, then we went with some more raw sienna, and that was olive green. So we get kind of a nice green now mixing in, because we have lots of greens in this painting with the fall colors. But for now, let's get those darks in. So now we go in and we just start thinking about, well, the light too is coming from this way, but there's lots of shadow down here. So we're not going to worry too much with light and shadow right now with this. We just want to, you could introduce a little bit of light and shadow here and there, but these are the darks, and that's what we want to do. Let's get those darks in right away. And that helps us to judge all the other colors as we go, as to what dark and lightness we're going to make the other tonal values in our paintings. And you'll just see, I'm just working those darks. And I will work at a good pace here. I'm not going to be fussing around too much. And we'll go over here and we'll start working this way. And then as the limbs go up higher, they get thinner. Then you can start to thin them out a little. Put a couple branches here and there that go this way and that way, any old happy way you want to make them. And then we have another tree back here. Again, a nice dark, and we're just really working that dark mixture back here. Sorry about that. I sometimes get messages when I'm having my photographs online here. I gotta have my phone on though, just in case my family or anybody wants to reach me for any reason if their car breaks down or something. I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye out for everybody. And again, mostly upward branches, and then a few turning downwards like that. That looks good though. That's fine. And then we'll put all of our leaf forms over the top of that. We could even start doing that now a little bit. And then we'll start going in and getting some of the fall colors over here even more. Let's get some reds and yellows and golds here. And this we make a little bit with a little bit additional water, kind of more puddly. You can kind of see how this is straight paint, really. I didn't add any water to these colors here. I just went straight into my palette. And what I did is when I first started the painting, I spritzed this with water, the paints, to get it moist. And then I just go in and take straight paint and put it in here for the darks. I don't want to mix water in with my darks really. So all these darks you see here, pretty much all straight paint, no water at all. And that's the key to getting good darks. Because if we add too much water, it dilutes the pigment, the paint, and that makes it lighter. And we're trying to really get some really good darks in here. And also too, I wanted to add some cerulean blue here too. That's a good fall color. And then I'll add some of that to the tree. The trunks here, some coolness to it. And I'm constantly rinsing my brush as I'm working here. And you can have a tissue on hand. I usually keep a tissue in my hand like this. So when I rinse off my brush, I can dry off a little bit of the water so that I'm not flooding my palette with too much water. I want to make sure I keep my brush just, damp and not full of water, except for when we're going to go in and get some of this puddly mix here to start splashing on. And we'll get some greens here too. We want to mix our greens. So that's olive green, sap green, a little bit of viridian green there. Let's get some viridian green, viridian. And then you can start getting our fall colors in here. Yellow and yellow there. So that's cadmium lemon yellow and then cadmium yellow. And then also some cadmium red. We'll use some of that too, cadmium red. And you'll get some really beautiful colors. And I just do some finger painting, some finger tapping for the leaf forms. Splashing. I splash on my leaves. You can paint on some, and I just scrub around like so. And I think if you leave lots of white paper within your leaves of your tree and the foliage, you're going to have a better result because it feels light and airy. And it feels also too, we notice there's more shadows on the undersides of the leaf forms, and then they get lighter as they go up higher, like that. And at this point we can get the number 8 brush, bigger brush. That means we can get more coverage. Okay, Okay. And if you overpaint something, don't worry about it. Gently just tap on it with a tissue. And all right, so you can see beautiful fall colors here. And then we'll continue with our number 5 Da Vinci travel brush. This is the synthetic. Okay. Maybe we'll just start getting in that background there. It's going to be cooler though. Let's make things in the background cooler. Back here like this. We can paint right over that telephone pole because that's going to be dark. Then maybe here in the foreground it's a little bit like this. And then more grass over here. Get some of those pumpkins in there. Oh, look, we're having fun already. Pumpkins, we're ready. Pumpkin pie. Carving some pumpkins and having a good time. It's Halloween already. And we have our ghost there. And we'll have a few more pumpkins maybe somewhere else. But let's put a few here in the front of the house. Like that. And then let's keep working here now. We're going to make sure we observe our photograph here and keep referencing that. And we'll notice that this side of the house is quite cool. It's got like a cooler wash to it. Now I said we're going to start with the darks, and we will. But I just want to kind of start to weave things together, connect things up like that. And if it looks too dark, you can lift up a little bit of paint with your tissue, but that should be fine. Now, we'll keep going. We wanted darks, so we're going to make that roof over here dark. So that's some shingles over here. Like that. And I'll dry off my brush a little bit on the paper towel. We'll have some more shingles over here. Again, we're going for the darks first. Let's get those in. And then more darks over here too. That's the roof of the garage. And we'll add a little bit of different mixtures in there. Maybe a little bit of red and gold. And, you know, we don't want to make those colors over here just looking like they're all one kind of color. Let's infuse different colors in our darks. That always makes darks look great when you can infuse some other bits of color in there. Okay, so now we have, again, I'll rinse off my brush, dry off the water, out of my brush, get some more darks, and we'll put the roof here for the roof for the porch, like that. And a little bit of color in there too, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, green. Okay, now what else do we want to do? Let's get, again, we're continuing with the thought of darks. Let's get our darks in. And that's what we're going to do. And that's, I'll start doing the telephone pole here. And I just rest my hand on the paper. I would be careful over here to rest my hand in that. I don't want to do that, so I'll kind of stay over this way here. And with this, you can always use the approach of kind of break it up a little bit and not make it all just one dark or something like that. Try to break it up a little bit. And we could do this telephone pole too here. We want to get the darks in. This might be a little bit too, yeah, let's let this dry here. Because right now, if we put this telephone pole in, does this make sense? If we start to paint in this telephone pole now here, while these leaf forms that we painted that are kind of wet and puddly, the colors were, we did a lot of wet washes here. If we start putting in this dark, it's going to flood out and start like blossoming and blooming and cauliflowering, they call it, and into the other washes. So let's let that dry. Over here we could do it. So we could start down here. Like that. We can do the bottom there. This looks like it might be dry enough. See, there's dry enough. We could put a little bit there. Let's try there. You can also test as you go, see what happens. It's always a good way to do it. Kind of do a little test spot here and there. See what happens. And then we know, nope, we gotta let it dry, or okay, we can go more. Looks like it. A little bit of cool in there, cool colors, blue. And we did it. Look at that. So we did get that completed. We want to make it dark though. I just slide my hand on the paper like that. And good. All right. That looks good. That worked out good. All right, so now let's take that dark. We'll do the shadows later. We're going to have shadows. You can see them here for that telephone pole, and some shadowing over here from this tree, and some shadowing from the trees. We'll do those shadows later. Let's keep working on the main darks that we said we wanted to start with. We don't want to go off of our game plan. Our game plan is to stick with our darks. So let's get those in over here. I'll start picking up my pace a little bit. Like that. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Now it's probably fine to start getting some more of those greens and reds and oranges fall colors over here on these trees back here. A little bit of blues too. Green, viridian green. And you can see, can't you see, right? You can see this. Our paint's gone a long way here. So we mixed up our colors to start with. Both yellows, cadmium yellow and then cadmium lemon yellow. And then we mixed in some olive green, sap green, viridian green, blue, cerulean blue. And all of these really make the fall colors look great, and that's what we're doing. Just kind of sticking with our game plan here, mixing up the colors ahead of time. Probably the more lighter yellow colors up top, higher up on the leaf forms, right? Where the sunlight is catching the leaves, and like this. And then underneath there's more of the blue kind of shadowy colors like this, and we can add some purple to that, which is going to look great. Let's do some purple. Now that we're going to introduce some purple colors, we have to definitely mix that purple color around here and there, because if we add a color in one area of the painting, it has to be really realistically, for it to look good, we have to move it around and get it everywhere else in the painting for the most part, even if it's just a little subtle bit of it. Otherwise it's going to kind of look like someone spilled some paint on one part of your painting, and then all of a sudden it looks out of place. So let's make sure we do that. You see I'm taking that purple and moving, getting it, mixing it around the painting. It's going to be in the shadow areas, and we're going to use it for the shadows on the bottom of the painting too, where we're going to put those shadows. But that looks pretty good. We're going to put it in the building too, in the house, like that. And why not? Let's get this mixed there. Let's get that light wash on the house. You can see the house is quite a bit lighter. Wow. Can you see how light that is compared to the dark, like the trunks of the trees, the house, and the road too? So that's what we're really focusing in on when we're painting all the time as a watercolor artist. One of your main one of your main things you'll focus on that really helps your paintings look a lot better is noticing the darks and the lights of everything, and the subtle darks and lights too, Like there's really super dark darks. That's the trunks of the trees down here. And then there's medium darks, like over here in the leaf forms. And then there's lights, like this, lighter lights. So if we can kind of focus in on that, we're going to really have a much easier time making good-looking paintings. And that's what we all want at the end of the day as artists. Better-looking paintings as we go. We're not going to set the world, on fire with great paintings when we first start. It takes years and years and years to learn how to paint well, and don't let anyone tell you differently. You have to just keep working, and you'll enjoy you'll enjoy the journey as you go, and you'll know that it does take a long time, and if you just work a little bit at it, you'll get there, and your paintings are always going to be looking better and better each time you're working. And blue, I see blue. Lots of blue over here in the shadows. And orange too. That orange and yellow. mix that in too as we go, so that everything isn't just blue. Let's make sure we have some orange and, you know, yellow, red, that kind of mixture. And then over here, these windows, that's going to be really important. We'll go back here. We'll do that later, actually, because that's going to be, we're going to take some time to really kind of focus in on that detail of the painting, even though it's sort of like, looks like it's kind of like a small part of the painting that's just there. But that sun porch is really going to be important, because we're going to make an exciting feature of that area of seeing the trees behind that section. So it'll feel like you can see through it. And that'll give your painting real beautiful three-dimensional quality, as if you can take some areas that you see that you can kind of like key in on, where you have that advantage of making something look like three-dimensional, or have some like depth to it, where you can see through something, like through a window or through a door or through anything you can imagine, through some trees, just like we can see through the trees here. That gives your painting some three-dimensional quality. If you have areas where we're going to put some sky blue washes in those white areas there, that'll give it three-dimensional quality. So that's what we're trying to do too when we're creating a painting, is if we can get three-dimensional quality to it, that's going to make it look great. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll continue working on, I think we have all the darks in right now for the most part. So we're pretty in great shape. We're going to also draw in that car we talked about. So let me do that next. Let's pencil in our car, and then we'll be all set to begin painting again. All right, so let's get our phone and see if we'll dial up our car here on the phone. There it is. So let's do this car. It's like an antique car, maybe from the 40s or 50s. Let's see if we can draw this in over here. So I'll just take this and say, like, this is probably the driveway over here that comes along here and then goes into where the garages are. So I'll just kind of make that line across here like that, and that's sort of the driveway area. And then I'll just try to recreate that car here. So maybe I'll start out with the top of the car here. That might be too far. I'll have to move the car over just a little bit. Now that car's going to be dark green. This is a dark green car, so I think I won't worry about this here. We'll paint over that. Okay, so that's there. Across here. Okay, like that. And I'm just carefully trying to draw what I'm seeing here. Hopefully I can get a good... good. The tires look fine. All right, that's, I think, good. That's enough that detail that we can actually paint this in, and it's going to look good. Here in the driveway, this beautiful green antique car. And let's keep painting now. Let's paint our car in. We'll get some green, dark green. So that's going to be sap green with some blue and brown to kind of make it a good, yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe a little more brown there, maybe a little red, some burnt sienna, more blue. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll have my tissue on hand, of course, just to dry off some of the paint off the brush as we were mixing that. We don't want to have too much paint in the brush, and next thing you know, we're kind of flooding the paper with too much water. So I'll just go right around here. And there's going to be some lights cascading off the car, some highlights, so let's have that. Let's make sure we capture that, and we'll take advantage of that idea to sort of leave in some details where the car door trim is and things. Okay, there's going to be some dark shadowing underneath the car. And then we have the side of the car there. And there's some more. There's a windshield over here and the top of the car there. Like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we'll put a little bit of gold in there, maybe some raw sienna, some blue, a little bit of blue there too. Maybe some red. We'll put some alizarin crimson and some cadmium red, alizarin crimson, a little bit of orange. And we'll dry off our brush, rinse off our brush, dry off the brush a little bit, and put a little bit, infuse a little bit of some of the fall colors in that green. Okay. And then the colors of the then we'll have some darks for the tires, like that, and then some other some white walls on there. Then we're going to have some purple and some raw umber maybe too, or some raw sienna for some shadowing underneath the car. That will lighten up. Maybe over here the shadow isn't as noticeable there. And let's continue here. So I think I will take some more of that blue and start to kind of put in this mountain area. And then if you have lots of that color for that car, probably a good time to maybe we'll just kind of keep our center section of this here kind of free so we can make more colors, mix more colors here. So we wanted to mix some more greens now, green, yellow, like we were doing before over here, like both of our cadmium colors. Some viridian green over here. Nice fresh colors there. A little bit of blue over here. And this is what we were talking about before. Having this sunroom over here with plenty of bright colors for the mountains in the back here, the hills in the back. And that gives us that feeling that you can see through these windows into the back areas where the hills are. That's what I wanted to do there, just to give it a little extra three-dimensional quality. So you can see we're moving right along here. Let's we have our car completed, so let's see if we can we'll put some grass here. That there might be the driveway, so we're going to make that driveway a little bit more of a grayish color. We have larger areas to cover now. We'll step back up to the larger brush, the number 8. So if you have a large area to cover and you notice you're starting to have an issue where you feel like you don't have enough paint and a large enough brush, just shift up to your larger brush, and this way you can get this whole area in nice and quickly, like this. A little more blue over here. Cooler colors in the back here. Brighter colors up front. Very light colors here for the roadway. You can see how light and bright that is. So I'm going to leave that nice and bright. Same with over here too. There might be some shadows over here. We'll get to those in a little while. But as you can see, really it's all right. I think the best thing to do right now is, since we've put quite a few washes on here and there, as this last 10-15 minutes, let's let this dry a little bit, the painting. And you can use a blow dryer if you want to speed up the process and just blow dry it off for a few minutes or so. We're getting to the point though where we're kind of finishing up now, so we just have a few more. I can see like we'll need a dark here, a dark bit of paint here for our telephone pole over here. We'll need a little bit of colors here along these steps here with the railings. We'll do some darks over here on the garage doors. We're going to do some more details to the windows, but other than that, I think we're pretty much good. We could work on the a little bit of the sky right now by just putting in a little tiny bit of cerulean blue, maybe a little bit of French ultramarine blue too as well. Like that. And then when you put it here and there very quickly, just a little bit and fast, don't do a lot of brush strokes on these areas where you have it in the trees. Just quick so that you can see blue sky through. And just a dab or two is fine. Like that. And then I'll take a little bit of orange. Like that. Tiny bit of orange. And just with a damp brush. Just damp brush, so I rinse off the brush, dry off the excess water. And then I go in here. And I just get a little bit of that orange along the horizon line of the sky where it meets the hills over here. That's more realistic to what it really looks like in real life versus just trying to paint everything blue where the sky is. So I think that's fine. That looks good. All right, let's let this dry and we'll come back in a few minutes and finish up. All right, so let's start finishing up with the details here. We did say we wanted to get that dark telephone pole over here. So I'll just... Now this doesn't have to be tremendously dark. It's in the distance a little bit, so I'm going with just a little bit of a lighter... color there. We can add in some color to it. Maybe a little blue, cerulean blue. Okay, now we have let's see, the garage door. I thought we were going to do, yeah, these are kind of darker. In the photograph we can see these are darker. These windows here for the burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, a little bit of burnt sienna. And I just put them in the way I see them. Like that. We have some lights here. And there's going to be some different shadows and things here and there. We will get to those. So let's get some of these windows in here. Up top, the windows reflect the sky because they're high up and they'll pick up the colors of the sky. So we'll put some blue in there like that. Same with over here. And there's a little bit of the darker grayish color, so we can mix in a little bit of that. We just make it, but you can see we're not going super dark for the bottoms of the windows here. And then here, at the bottom of the painting, I'm seeing more orange, which might be the fall colors a little bit, and some of the yellows and greens. And if we put too much water on there, no big deal. Lift up a little bit. A little bit of blue too. Over here, these look like these windows here are a little darker. So I'm just getting in the windows, and those look like they're lots of blue in there. And then we're going to have some shadowing underneath here. That might even be a little bit darker. So I'll infuse a little more darker wash there, just under there for the shadows. And okay, this will be some of the, I rinse off the brush, then I dry off a little bit of the paint on the tissue just to make sure I don't have too much, because I want to start getting some of these. So that's going to sort of look like these are and that's good. That kind of looks like the trees behind there. Okay, over here, I'm going to make a shadow underneath the railing of the hand railing here, and then some lines here for the railing, like that. Okay. And there's some more, a little bit of a darker tonal value up in these windows here. I like to try to get some of the subtleties of it, so you could get some really darks too under here. This always looks good if you can add a little darker underneath the very tops of the windows. That's kind of where you'll see the shadow mostly for windows. A lot of times is right on that upper area of the window where it's kind of, you could see more of the where it kind of, the window is recessed in, and you'll see that shadow up top there. That's really a good place if you're always going to think of adding a shadow to your windows. That's always a great spot to do it, right up top there, like that. And then we are going to need some shadowing under here by the garage here, where the eaves of the roof are. So we add that, and then we add some colors, infuse some colors in there, reds and greens. I forgot to mention that, just to add some variety of color in the shadows. And what else do we have? Not a lot. This whole side of the building is really in shadow, so you don't see a lot of really bright kind of like colors and things. But we do have details for sure. And then we can also do this as well underneath the sash here, like that. That's another area you'll see darks to add a little more shadows to the picture. And then maybe even under here too, like this. The sills of the window usually have a little shadow under them. Even though it's not like sunlight here on this side of the building, you still see it. And what else do we have here? I think we're pretty good. I wanted to see if I could get this a little better. This side of the roof over here. That looks good. And then maybe some shadows to the... Maybe we can make some like horizontal light, a little bit darker wash than what's there now. That might look good, just to give it a little. Like that. And that just gives it a little more detail to it, just a touch more detail. And I think that's good there. I wanted to do this too as well. Burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, a little more French ultramarine blue. Dry off on the paper towel or a tissue. I just wanted to bring this down a little bit over here on the grass, like that. Then we'll do the cross member up here. And from this point, let's get some shadowing in. So we have purple, and then we'll mix a little bit of that darker dark that we made there with some raw umber. We'll make this a little more, I think that should be good. And let's see what the picture shows this way. So the shadow's kind of going on an angle this way. So we'll just follow this here as it goes. We'll start it up here and then just have it go like this. And the same thing here like that. A little bit of shadowing under there further. And then also too, we're going to use the larger brush now. This side of the house is going to need some shadowing. So I'm just going to sort of do this. Here too. And I just want to make sure my shadows are all in the same kind of direction, these same angles. And then maybe we have a little bit of maybe this might be a little bit of some stone foundation here. So we could just add a little bit of stone foundation there. And I think that looks pretty good. We can also take our brush and get a little bit of the dark here. Not too dark, you know, something just just like that. A few of those quick little indications. For some telephone lines. And I think we really have everything pretty much good. I don't, I think we could use a touch of some paint, white, titanium white. You can always use a little bit of titanium white with a little bit of yellow ochre in the top of the paint. Mix it in there just a little bit. Just a tiny touch of the yellow ochre makes that really, really just, the titanium white's like a stark white, you know, so if you add that little bit of yellow ochre, it gives a little bit of a warmer feel, like sunlight feel. Then you get some on the brush, you dry it off a little bit too, so you don't have too much on there. And then you just might add a few highlights, like we'll add a little highlight here to the top of the car. That looks good. And the sunlight also, I thought I would add a few more. That might be good. Maybe here we thought too, we have a ghost over here. So we have a fun ghost over here by our pumpkins. We're going to make a few more pumpkins, I think. Let's do that. And this might be a little more an area too where there might be some more light. So I take a little more of that white, titanium white, and just go across the railing there. And over here too, maybe. Like that. And trying to think anywhere else. Oh, over here. I dry off the white off the brush a little bit. And I just wanted to add a little bit of white over here where the corner of this wall is here. And also a few more window panes here, like that. So there we can see that's clearly a window. And we can see through the building. And that's really great. If we can get that detail in there, that's really important. And it's fine. There's some subtleties in here I might have not captured, maybe a couple of things, but I mean, for the most part, that's good. I think that is really what we wanted to capture here, is the feeling of the beautiful autumn colors. We also can add a few more details, maybe a few more pumpkins here. Maybe there's a couple more over here on this side of the house. Maybe there's over here there's a door on the side of the house, maybe. So maybe there's a few more over here. We're going to have some pumpkins over here. Someone's been decorating the house here. And we'll just... a little bit too... I have too much water in that there. But that should be good there. Okay, so we have a few more pumpkins over here. And we have a lot over here on the front of the house. And then maybe over here, yeah, there's going to be a few on top of on the railing here. Okay, so we have some pumpkins for the Halloween and the autumn feel for this painting. And I think that's good. All right, hope we had a great time doing this painting. And again, I will have this on my homepage, on my YouTube homepage, and we'll show you in just a second. What I'll do is I'll do a quick, let's do this. Let's move this here like that. Let's peel off the tape. And once you peel off the tape, you kind of see it makes a great border. So it almost makes your painting look great because it's like a frame around it. And it looks great, that nice crisp edge. Like that. Okay, now I'll just take a quick second. I'll get my phone set up, and then we'll actually kind of show you how you're going to go if you do want to take a look at the finished painting as well as the finished pencil drawing. I will add it to my community tab on my homepage on YouTube. All right, so I'll show you how you do that next, and then we'll be fine. We'll be all set, and happy painting. All right, as we promised, we will kind of walk ourselves through this process of just getting to my homepage, and then you can check out the finished painting there, as well as the finished sketch, the finished contour drawing that we did for this tutorial. So basically it's really simple. If you just go to YouTube, so you're on YouTube and then you just search, you go to your search button and you click search, and then you just type in my name, Chris Petri. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit so we can see this a little closer. Okay, so we're here. We're at the search bar up top, you can see, and then I just go to Chris Petri, which is already there. I click on that, and then you'll see that there's all my videos, Chris Petri, and you'll see all the videos. Then what I do next is I just click on where my name is and my picture here. So that's how you get to my homepage on YouTube, is you just go to where my picture is and my name, and then when you click on that, that takes you to my homepage on my YouTube channel. And then once you're there, very simple from there, you just go to the community tab right over here on the right hand side. It says community. You click on that, and there you have it. You'll have a picture. This was last week's video we did. So that's the finished painting of last week's video, which is the boats in the bay with the fishing shacks and the sailboats we did. So that's the finished painting. And then you can go here up a little bit and scroll up, and you'll see that here's the other painting we did the week before that, which is the still life with the bird and flowers, as well as the shack and country landscape scene. And then you click on that, you have that there. And then also too, if you scroll over, the week before that even, we have the lighthouse painting. The step-by-step watercolor lighthouse painting right there. So you can kind of see. And then if you shift over one more, we have the glazing technique where we did the beautiful city scene along the water. And there you have it. And what I have to do is, I think I'm only allowed 5 paintings at one time. So what I'd like to do is I have to still work with this a little bit. I'm still getting used to it. But what'll happen is I'm going to try to put the most recent videos will always be here in the community tab on my home channel. So when this painting is done and I'm finished processing it, probably it'll take me about another hour, and then I can finish up and put those paintings of this finished painting here and the finished sketch. So you will see those items on my community tab on my homepage on YouTube, just like that. And again, it's the community tab on my homepage. And my homepage, you can't miss that. You'll see this picture here with my studio and my art table and my video table here and my desk and all that good stuff in the window there with my shorebird in the window. Okay, so you're going to have fun doing this process of going in and getting the photographs, because I know many times people have asked me for it. I just didn't know how to do it, but I finally researched it, and now I'm able to post my pictures on YouTube, so you'll be able to see the pictures for each week's tutorials. Okay, all right, so we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.